I have been trying to find and photograph a wood duck for quite some time, with little success. In this video I use eBird to track down a promising hotspot in the Annapolis Valley. I head out with my camera, hoping this latest lead will finally pay off. Well, good morning. I'm at a sewage lagoon. I'm looking for wood ducks on eBirds. There's a birder that had listed, I think it was 14, like only a couple days ago. So I came out here. I didn't know that there's a chain link fence. And then obviously it's a sewage lagoon, so it's kind of like the edges are a little steep. But that doesn't matter because there's no wood ducks in here. At least not right now. There's plenty of other birds. And I even put Merlin up, the app that lets you listen to the bird calls. And I saw bobolink on the list. And by the time I figured out where it was, it took off and it hasn't come back. I have a blurry photo of one. I believe that's on the rare side of things. So on Merlin, it had a red dot, which indicates it being rare or not local. And yeah, so, but I'm not seeing any wood ducks here. So there's a couple other spots that the same birder is in this area, which is the cannon area. I'm getting dive bombed by tree swallows this whole time, but so I'll check out a few other spots. I do have a backup plan if I can't find my wood duck. So there actually were wood ducks, a female and her ducklings. Not an ideal setting though. There weren't any wood ducks at the second location either. Some sheep grazing though. On the floor of the Bay of Fundy, the tide is out, as you can see, and I'll walk out to this, which is Paddy's Island, and it's a, well, I guess it's the sandstone, probably sea stack. It did used to have an arch, it doesn't now. And this was going to be that spot for my first Milky Way shoot that got failed by weather. So since I hadn't been there in forever, it was good to now come and scout it out. So I'm gonna walk out to that, and it's like midday sun, but I'm sure we can make a shot work. If not, there's some nice textures in the, ooh, slippy. Just nice textures in them. I was gonna say sand, but it's probably more mud. It's also a good view of Blomidon in the back. So this would be the game plan to use as a subject for the Milky Way, which, as you can see, I can pretty much line it up any way you want. South is roughly that way. So I'm pretty sure it'll work pretty much any time. And the arch used to be right across there. So you have a nice little gap. There is a couple small ones. We'll get closer, but I was hoping to do a long exposure here earlier in the day, like when I was chasing the wood ducks. It was much nicer clouds. These ones, I don't even think they're moving. Check it out anyway. I think we got one shot at least. Not a total waste. Not a wood duck. Take it. Shooting really wide here. I got these nice ripples, sand ripples, leading into this sea stack. F16 hyperfocus, so I don't have to focus stack. Hopefully came up. My tripod way over there. The sun's too far up. I wonder if I could get that. I did bring my 20mm prime. Wonder if I can get a starburst through that little hole. I think it's too high. A little bit of mud. I think will be worth the shot. Not too bad. Well, this has some pretty nice photo opportunities and like harsh lighting conditions. I can only imagine what it'll be like in like a sunset, sunrise. Milky Way over this is gonna be epic. Just gotta get out here and do it. So if you turn right instead of left when you come out, I went to Paddy's Island first, but there are other sea stacks on the left side. And then what caught my eye is in this one, you won't be able to see here. I'll spin you around. Whee! So off in the distance there, kind of looks like an arch. So I'm gonna hoof it to there and see what that's like. The tide is on its way in. And yeah, I'm gonna have to be quick because this is pretty flat and it'll come right up on you. Not as cool as Paddy's Island though, that one. Well, it's certainly an arch. It's just, will that, it'll line up. It's just, will that cover most of the Milky Way? By the time you factor in the horizon being kind of down here, what is going to be up there and up there? It's going to cover most of the Milky Way. I like the isolation. It's also the angle. It's much smaller here. We turn, it opens up. The more west we go, yeah, west. But I don't know. Paddy's Island, I think, is better overall. Will work for, it's a better composition, but it's a good secondary target. But you definitely need the tide to work, moon phase work, and weather to work. And then it's still over an hour drive for me to get here. So I'm pretty sure the water's already up at Paddy's Island. So thumbs up quick. So I'm about 8 minutes from where the road goes into Blomidon Park is. And right at the start there's a waterfall. So I think I'm gonna head to that. I haven't shot that on this channel before. I've shot it before, but it wasn't in like great water conditions. I don't know what that's gonna be like today, but since I'm right in the area, I'll check that out. So I'll see you when I get there. Is all underwater now. It's also warmed up quite a bit. You need to ditch the sweater. It was frost warning this morning. Literally sweating now. So Blomidon's out there. There is a trail that takes you all the way up there at the parking area that's up here, but I just wanted to check the water flow. That's the river that flows out. And we got to walk up the road. Pretty sure you can't pull over and park there, and it's on a switchback, so it's pretty dangerous. So just gonna walk up, and looks like there'll be some water to shoot. So I didn't know there was a trail, but if you come in here, that comes off the road. And if you go down, you have that first little flare. That's nice. And then this guy up here. I'm gonna try this one. I don't think there was enough water last time to shoot that. And I think we're much better shape today. And then I'll probably shoot the bottom one and get those 2 shots and call it. I'm roasting. The composition I had framed was chaotic. Even crop in the center and the black and white conversion still felt cluttered. I would have better luck a little bit higher up on the waterfall. Well, I didn't bother with that lower one. I think that top falls is gonna look really nice. Add a nice soft little glow in post. I did have to exposure blend because the top of the falls was in pretty much direct sunlight and the lower falls was in a little bit of shade. Again, the sun's almost directly overhead. I gotta stop shooting waterfalls in the worst possible time of day, but I think it'll still look really nice. So I'm just on the road coming out, and I saw something interesting on the way in. I'm just going to take a peek at it. We'll stop in there if it works out. Then it's a tick check, because I don't want that again. This is what caught my eye. Looking back at it now, the scene wasn't quite as isolated as I initially thought. A 3-to-1 crop definitely improves the composition and gives it a cleaner look, but unfortunately that doesn't matter because I missed the focus. On the right, you can see Paddy's Island surrounded by the water. I did find another location that would work really well for a Milky Way, so I have a secondary target for when I finally get out to do this shoot. As I mentioned in last week's video, I'll be printing a few small inserts to include with this year's calendar. These are the 2 images I've chosen for my favorite for this outing, Would you pick something different? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments.